Hi everyone, it's me, Carly. This is Zudio Virtual Safari, and we have a really, really special virtual safari for you all today. We're featuring Wookie, our Linne's two-toed sloth. You all might remember him from Bird World. He is the son of Charlotte and Elliot, and he's now in Animal Ambassadors. So he's working with a whole new team, and he is out and awake and ready to see you all. So I hope you all are ready to see Wookie, our sloth. So we're going to talk to his keeper, Sarah. She can answer your questions about Wookie or sloths in general, what we're working with him on, how he's been since moving out of Bird World, and hopefully when people might be able to see him. So we are really excited about this one. We've been working really hard to get him ready for a virtual safari, and we're really excited to show you. So know more about me. Let's show you Wookie. And here he is. He's gotten so big since he was born in April of 2018 or 2019. 2019.
He's
so
just over a year old.
He's more than a year old, so he's looks, all the adult coloration and all that. He's not that little brown ball of fur that was on top of Charlotte for all those months.
A lot closer to looking like a full-grown boy here. So he's just about 14 months old. We've had him with our ambassador team for just over 2 months, so he's still considered pretty fresh to ambassadors here. He was born here on zoo grounds, so he didn't move far for his new home, and we have been thrilled to have him. Personally, Wookie is the very first sloth I've ever worked with, so it has been a huge joy for me to get to learn about the species and learn about Wookie personally, and we have found out that Wookiee's most favorite thing is sweet potato.
Sweet potato. So if you're wondering what he's eating right there, that's not carrot, that is sweet potato. And it helped him get the courage to come out of his crate today and join us for this virtual safari.
Yeah, we realized what we had with Wookie here, that he's a very special ambassador animal, and a lot of people are going to want to meet him. So the very first thing we started training him to do was to come out here onto this demonstration perch. So Wookie, just like every other animal here at the Denver Zoo, is trained with positive reinforcement. It basically means Wookie chooses to come out on this perch, and if he makes good choices, he gets rewards for it, or reinforcers. And so today, and pretty much every day, Wookie's favorite reinforcer is some of that sweet potato. So he has made an excellent choice, and he's going to get lots of treats today.
Very cool. Michael says, what is his name? You're looking at Wookie. Our wonderful guests voted for that one. Karen asked, why would a sloth be in Bird World? It's a great question. It's just the climate, the temperature, the humidity, that was all really great for these sloths. So they were really great cohabitants with our birds that lived in Bird World, and we had those high atrium ceilings, which meant they could go up into the trees and have privacy and nest. It was just a really compatible habitat for them. But yes, they were the outliers in Bird World. Quentin is 10. He wants to know how old Wookie is. So he's about 14 months old now, almost. Or 16. He's a year and 4 months.
Time flies.
Yes, it does. And Lala wants to know, does he have a really long tongue?
His tongue isn't terribly long. You might be able to see it there as he eats his sweet potato. What he uses to grasp his food are his super long front legs and those long front toes. You can see he's hanging onto the branch with it, but he also uses it to hold his food.
Oh my gosh, if I tried to eat like that upside down, it would not go well at all. Let's see, Brittany wants to know, what are the challenges of training a sloth?
One of the biggest challenges of training a sloth, as you might guess, is speed, right? Wookiee's version of top speed might be a little bit different than ours. And so learning sort of patience and when Wookiee's ready to go, because most importantly with training any animal is it's all going to be on their timeline and their decision. And also just Wookie being relatively young, and this is his first time being sort of a big boy, being on his own. And so he's been gaining a lot of confidence working by himself. So that was probably the biggest challenges I think with Wookie. Is just he's a little bit of a slower critter, and he's still growing up.
And he spent his first, year living in a habitat where he wasn't really trained as much. He would come down for training sessions with mom, for medical checks and everything, but not really for demonstration purposes.
Our Bird World keepers got him off to a great start. We all use the same training methods, as zoologists here at the Denver Zoo. So he got a great start in life, learning that his keepers mean good times and food. And so he had what we call the fundamentals of training. But yeah, he had not been used for demonstrations like this. And a lot of his early life, he hadn't seen a lot of people either. And so for Wookiee, he's sort of getting to expand his horizons now that he's over in Ambassadors.
Yes, he is. Karen wants to know, doesn't he choke when he hangs upside down?
You would think, right? No, this is actually how they spend the majority of their time. These guys are upside down in the trees most of the time. They come to the ground occasionally, and they do swim upright. They don't do the backstroke. These guys do swim upright, but other than that, most of their time is spent upside down. And you may actually see the way his fur grows. It sort of grows the opposite of what you'd expect because he's always hanging around upside down.
That's a great lead into the next question from Nancy. She wants to know, what's the texture of his fur, soft or stiff?
Great question. So it's because Wookiee's still fairly young, his fur is softer than our adult male sloth, Elliot, his dad. So it's slowly getting coarser as he gets older. Right now, I would say his fur feels pretty much equivalent to maybe an unwashed German Shepherd.
I think that's a good comparison. Michael wants to know, where does he sleep?
So he actually sleeps in his travel crate. He has, what you may see behind him, he has a large enclosure in our ambassador department with lots of ropes and branches and things for him to climb around on. But these guys really like to have a cozy place to sleep at night. And so he literally hangs out in his crate, and it has a big comfy towel in it. And so we put some special rods in his crate for him to hang from, but he can relax his arms, and he actually puts his back down on that towel when he sleeps.
And then that crate is here in the Gates Center at the zoo, because that's where most of our animal ambassador animals live.
Yes.
So he's not in Bird World anymore. His mom, Charlotte, lives in the chapel, our indoor area for our flamingos, and Dad, Elliot, is at the aviation propagation center. So that's where all three of them are. So Bridget said she wants to pet him. Explain why petting a sloth really might not be the joy some people think
Bridget,
it would be.
I understand, because his fur looks lovely to touch. But what's most important is that Wookiee here doesn't really want to be pet. So it's just like any other wild animal in general. They don't have that sort of relationship that you might have with your domestic animals at home. It looks like Wookiee's going to do a turn. That's fine. So he does not like to be touched as of yet. So in general, Wookiee will probably never like to be pet like you would think of your dogs and cats at home. Hi, my friend. But we may work with Wookiee in the future with what we call tactile behaviors, which is basically a fancy way of saying touching. And so it may be something like inspecting his feet or his nails or his ears. So we may actually train him in the future to be touched, but in general, not like a dog. He's not too keen on being pet right now.
Yeah. Hi, Robin. So sloths are really adapted to life upside down. It's how their fur grows. They don't use a lot of energy to keep themselves up hanging. That's just how it goes for them. So they can eat upside down too. And they don't choke like you and I would if we were trying to eat in bed. Let's see. Nancy wants to know, what's his approximate weight now?
So Wookiee is, I believe, just shy of 12 pounds. He could get upwards of 20, depending on what size male he is. His dad is fairly large. I believe his dad, Elliot, is pretty close to 20 pounds.
That's lighter than I would have thought.
Yeah, they're mostly limbs and fur.
Let's see. To answer your question, Emily, not all the sloths are animal ambassadors. Wookiee is, like we said, 1 year and 4 months, so he's really kind of malleable and adaptable to that training. Charlotte and Elliot are much, much older, and they wouldn't do well with the new training style, a new kind of way of life, the way our ambassadors live. So they will not be ambassador animals, and where they're going is still kind of TBD at this point. Everything's been a little bit on hold thanks to coronavirus. Michael wants to know, why are they slow?
That's a great question. It's sort of, their metabolism is a lot lower. Steph may actually. We've got some other trainers in the room as well that may have better answers.
Yeah, Steph, if you want to come over.
It helps with avoiding predators. So if they stay still enough and that the fur blends into and is good camouflage, And if they move slow enough that it doesn't look like they're moving at all, oftentimes predators will just pass them by without even noticing that they're there. So that slowness really helps them kind of evade predators.
Yeah, and that's, they can still probably get somewhere fast. Like, I've seen them
Yes.
scurry at night.
They can, yes.
They don't really they're not like runners, but they're nocturnal. So we've seen clips from back when Charlotte and Wookie were babies living or he was a baby living in Bird World, where they kind of get moving across those vines when they're active.
Thanks, Steph.
How is he handling kind of training during the day when he'd normally sleep?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a number of different nocturnal animals that live in ambassadors here at the zoo. I think most famously we have a number of species of owls. So we get this question pretty often. And so in the wild, a lot of animals that are nocturnal are sort of taking advantage of the night, that other animals aren't active at that time, so they're able to find food in the evening. Well, here at the zoo, there's no competition for food, right? It's available for them as much as they'd like, and so Wookiee here, as well as the rest of our nocturnal animals, have pretty much learned that during the daytime, when we're here, there's snacks to be had, and we see them participate a lot more during daytime hours. We do have night keepers that work here at the zoo, and they also do report back that animals like Wookiee will get active at night as well.
Yes. Hi, Jackie. Wookie is one of our sloth babies. He is only 1 year and 4 months, so he was born in April of 2019, and he has an older sister, baby Ruth. She's at a new zoo now, but she was born about 1 year before that. So we have had sloth babies. You're looking at one of our more recent ones.
Yeah, baby Ruth is at the Dallas Zoo. Shout out. I know there's a couple of Dallas zookeepers watching right now.
So thanks for taking such great care of baby Ruth for us. Michael wants to know, do they bite?
Absolutely. Anything with a mouth, we always say can bite. So Wookiee can bite, but he has not bitten any of his keepers. It's one of the things that we work on really specifically, is to make sure that we keep our hands in a safe place, and we never put Wookiee in a position where he would be upset enough to bite somebody.
Oh, here comes the question we all know is coming. Someone wants to know, did I read correctly that they come down once a week to poop?
In the wild, yeah, that is the average. So Wookiee likes to keep us a little bit busier than that, but he does same thing. He comes to the ground to go to the bathroom.
Again, the way he doesn't have to compete for food because he's not in the wild, he doesn't have to worry about predators when he comes down to go to the bathroom, so he can do it a little more frequently. Wookie is saying, hi, everyone. He's looking right at the camera now.
We're actually going to see if Wookiee wants to show you guys one of his newly learned behaviors, which is crating himself to travel back home.
Yeah.
And so this has been a great amount of time for Wookiee to be out. So we're going to now give him the option to come back into this cozy crate. And we affectionately call this his Zuber.
Zuber. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. A couple questions about, does Wookie make any vocalizations?
They can make a couple different sounds. You guys may have heard the little air puff sounds he can make by kind of squeezing his nose. But in general, these are pretty silent animals.
Wow. Someone's asking if we have any enrichment that we give Wookie.
Yes, he is part of our enrichment program, just like all of the rest of our animals. Wookie currently really likes it when he has new branches to climb on. He's really into scents. So if we put some different like essential oils around, things like that, he's pretty into it. And we actually recently found out he really likes little wicker balls to play with. So he took his long nail and sort of skewered one of the balls and threw it around his enclosure. So
very cool. Well, we're going to wrap up here, so I'm just going to ask a couple of these last questions that I see. Nancy wants to know, do they usually hang by all 4 limbs or sometimes just by their feet or their hands?
Yeah, it's a great question. It depends on what he's doing. So if he's really active, we pretty much see them use all 4 limbs. You can see he's actually kind of chilling out right now. He's put some of his weight down on his back, and so he's let go of some of his limbs. He's resting a little bit. So I'll see him sleeping sometimes, and he just has one little claw hooked to the top branch. So
can you
it's
all
sort of
see
just
that?
an anchor point, but they will rest all the way on their back.
So Ashley says, if they are nocturnal, does he sleep in his crate in the night or the day?
Both. Any of it.
Yes.
Anytime it's nap time, we usually find him in his crate. It is always open for him to come and go. Just like if anyone's ever had a dog at home that finds their kennel to be a really comforting area to sleep. that is pretty much how Wookie feels about his cozy little crate here.
Hi, Jeremy. I wish we could tell you when Elliot and Charlotte will be in a new kind of visible space, but everything is a little up in the air right now. So you'll just have to be patient with us, but trust me, we will make it very public and obvious when we know where they are going and when. So thank you so much to Sarah, and a special shout out to Stephanie for answering some of our questions. Thanks to Katie, she's back there too for some moral support. Thank you for all those questions today. They're so fun. I'm so glad we were able to show you Wookie. It's been so long since I have seen him, so I know it's been a long time since you all have seen him. So we're really happy to be able to bring you him and show you how he's been doing these last several months. So thank you all for those amazing questions, your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.